Three-pointer from way downtown. Let's get to where Daisy is. Yo, is this game PvP? Can you elaborate what time of game this is? Thanks. This is pure PvP. Open world. Yeah, I think Saints Row-ish. I mean, that's from the same developers. It's kind of with powers aligned with being in between Saints Row 3 and 4. You're not quite as superpowered as you were as the President of the United States. But,
okay, I can do this.
But yeah. Standard feature for all the agents is the triple jump and the dash, or a smoke screen in case of Rama. Being asked if I am from Reykjavik, and looks very pretty indeed. I mean, yeah, the future city of Seoul looks in case of Rama. Being asked if I am from Reykjavik, and
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with round 3 in the DTM World Tour, hosted by NXTGEN. I will be your commentator for tonight, Nickelman, live from Belgium. Welcome in Spain. We are currently watching the qualification round for round 3 at Catalonia, and we see Arki going ahead with a 1:39.8. Will be on for another 18 minutes in this qualification, and then we'll have a full-on 20-lap race. And of course, after last week's controversy, we are very, very curious how tonight is gonna roll out as we watch Blue Gobi taking a provisional 5th. Of course, also taking part in the Clio Cup, Blue Gobi is, and he did an excellent 4th last night. See what he can do tonight in this DTM Cup at Catalonia. I'll be your host tonight. I won't be driving in this cup, but if you want to see me drive, you please do follow the Clio Cup, a very competitive cup with some fair and good, tight, close racing. Let's hope we will get the same race tonight. Of course, the field will be stretched out a bit as these faster cup leagues tend to be. Close racing is far more difficult, of course, also with the added tension of the movable wing, the DRS system on these cars, these Mercedes-Benz EMG coupes, where we saw power drift by Blue Gobi. Let's go through the field. Camdis currently provisionally 6th. Also usually a very strong showing during the race, this racer. And as you can see, Blue Gobi has no problem in making room for the faster cars after a spin. And that's what we like to see. We like to see on-track gentry, as we call it. Drive hard, drive fast, but behave like a gentleman, of course. So currently the cutoff seems to be 140 or high 139s for pole and 140s for a good top 5 classification. So some drivers still have some work to do. We see Jelly Richards not setting a time at this moment. Oh, there he is. The camera has a little delay, so when I click to another rider, you might have to wait a little bit for the camera to pick this rider up. And we'll try to talk you through all the different turns on this very famous racetrack. We know this racetrack, of course, in the racing world as a test circuit for Formula 1. The first winter tests are held here traditionally. Last time we also did... Oh, and Jelly Richards has a little off. Parks his car back in the pit lane. Also, Jester is not setting a time currently. Big Sykester in 9th. Let's follow Shadow Stalker as he is going through Repsol, turn 4. Then some heavy braking for Seat, turn 5. Let's follow Shadow Stalker to get to know this circuit a bit better. Turns 7 and 8 are a close follow-up. Going uphill to turn 9. Kamsa, which brings us to the back straight. Going towards La Caxa hairpin. Here we go. We make it through turn 11, a little chicane. Here we go. And then turn 12, which is Bank de Sabadell. Here we are. Brings us to Europe car, turn 13, heavy braking for the final chicane, the chicane rack. And through New Holland, last lap, last turn. Oh, he went in. So the last turn is called New Holland, which brings us back on the straight. Formula One currently, the current record on the track is 121, still held by Kimi Räikkönen, a 2008 record. But of course now with the new Formula One cars in 2017, that track record will not stand up. So currently in first with 11 minutes to go, we see Arki, 139. Scooby G with a 4/10 deficit, 3.5 tenths deficit. Scooby G in second with a 140, a low 141, as well as Haltman, a low 141, and only 400ths. We see Gonzi at a 141 as well. So the top four separated by less than 4/10 of a second. I will swallow my words, stating that this faster cup will not give us close racing. We can see the times and they're very competitive. Even Fifth is now managing to go in 140 mids, and that's still, so the top five is with less than 1 second, is in less than 1 second. Is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. But don't never rule out the other drivers, as we see the race has to be won at the checkered flag and not during the qualification. We see Camdis in sixth, doing a 1:4.10. Jella Richards 1:41.2. He has some work to do, but he's a formidable driver during the race, so never count him out. Of course, one of the fast FRD guys. We have Jester in 8, doing a 1:41.6. There you see him on track, ladies and gentlemen, still going at it. As is Blue Nose, first driver to drop in the 142, albeit low. So with the 142 low, he's still in with a chance to keep up with the likes of Camdis, Jella Richards, Jester. And as you know, with the DRS, a mistake is easily made here. Super fast track, hard braking. So we will see people collecting penalties, going off track, no doubt, which usually gives a harmonica effect to the drivers, which means that the middle field will eventually have to battle it out on track. Big Sykester is doing a current 143 low, 0 actually, so still in with a chance, familiarizing himself with the track no doubt later during the race. Shadow Starker is doing a current 143, and we see Dark Sykes in 12th position currently with a 143.4, but only put in 2 laps, so maybe he still has something in his sleeves for later. We're almost done here. With 8 minutes to go. What is there for me to tell you before the race starts? Well, as you know, the track was built in 1991, very first F1 race, and the second in 1992 was actually won by Nigel Mansell for the British drivers. A nice story to know. Of course, the 91 version was famous of the tense battles between Mansell and, I believe, Senna. They actually, in 1991, Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell went down the entire front straight side by side while dueling for second place. It was incredible. Mansell eventually took the position, and ultimately he also took the race itself. So with 6 minutes on the clock in this qualification for the DTM World Tour race at Catalunya, Barcelona, I'm your host, Nickelman. I will take a short break, and you will hear me soon when we're gonna start this race, this 3rd round in the DTM World Tour Cup hosted by NXTGEN. I'll talk to you soon. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 minutes to go, maybe a little roundup of the current standings, where we see in the current standings, not of this qualification I mean, but in the standings of the DTM Cup. Actually, in first place is Holtman and closely followed by Arky. Scooby is in third and Jella Richards in fourth. In the current standings of the DTM is Jester in fifth, Shadow Stalker in sixth, Blue Nose in seventh, Blue Gobi in eighth, Camdis in ninth, and of the current participators, Ganzi in 11th, Dark Sykes 12th, and Big Sykester 16th. So Big Sykester can do a really good deal tonight, because he can pass 3 racers that are not currently taking part in today's race. Pitchy, Purple Twig and Drew are not present, and also Tasman cancelled for tonight's race. The midfield is very close to each other. We see the results. We have a lot of 41s. We have 4 people in the 41s very close to each other, so only separated by half a second, by 7/10 of a second. We see the top 5 only separated by 1 second. Arky actually managed to dive in a low 39.4s, and there we go. Ganzi seems to be the only racer that manages a 31. He just managed a 31.9. Sometimes the camera does weird things. I'm gonna apologize already. I hope this doesn't happen during the race. This was not my doing, neither is this. So let's click through the drivers, everybody in the garage. We see Ganzi exiting the pit lane for a last correction, probably, since he won't be able to set another lap with only 1 minute on the clock, of course. Now, while everybody is settling, maybe Blue Gobi, he was hindered here, it seems. It's not really clear by whom, but if so, that would be a real shame. Let's hope he gets a better time. I believe he just remains in 5th. And as we come to the conclusion of this session, we see here the final results. Arky in 1st, Ganzi in 2nd, Scooby in 3rd, Haltman in 4th, Blue Gobi 5th, Jester in 6th, Camdis in 7th, followed by Jella Richards, Blue Nose, Dark Sykes, Big Sykester and Shadow Stalker. I'm your host, Nickelman, in 13th, of course, in the pit lane. I do apologize for the start of the race. It's always difficult to return to pit lane. In project cars, they promise us a much better and efficient, more efficient way to start your broadcast. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And the start of this race. We see Arky in the lead. Oh, and we already see action there with Ganzi. Who was pushed by Scooby G, it seemed, but they all could continue. Blue Gobi in 4th. Dueling it out with Camdis. And as we see the field and the little individual duels starting to emerge, left and right, we're gonna keep an eye on these intermediate duels as well as the lead duels, of course. We see a fierce battle for 6th already. I told you during the qualification we are going to see some strong midfield battles. Maybe not of the likes of the Clio, of course, but groups of 2-3 will prevail, I think. So Camdis is able to keep Blue Nose at bay. Jelly Richards trying to not lose the riders in front. Gonna use some other camera position because these overall camera views sometimes doesn't want to follow the action. Never mind. Somebody's going wide there. Blue Nose trying to make it back up, and of course Jelly Richards is right up his tail. And also battle for 9th between Big Sykester, Jester, who dropped some places from the qualification, and Dark Sykes in 10th. So he made some Dark Sykes in 9th. He's making up places, very good. He's well up. He was starting 11th, if I'm not wrong. Shadow Stalker going wide. Big Sykester going wide, trying to keep up with Shadow Stalker. Touching the wall there. Come on, lad. Concentrate. I'm gonna run through the field on chase cam since our overall camera does not work as we want it to work. Shadow Stalker sees the battle between Jester and Dark Sykes, of course. So they make it through turn 4 at Repsol, that big turn after the bridge, to make their way down to turn 5, Seat Hairpin. We move up, we go the whole climb through 7 and 8 towards 9, Kamsa, before we dive down on the straight towards La Caixa. Enthralling battle here between Dark Sykes and Jester. We're on board with Jester, trying to pressurize Dark Sykes into a mistake, which he did. Awesome driving by both racers here. Little mistake by Dark Sykes maybe, but Jester took his time, was patient enough. Didn't do anything silly. Well done to both of them. We're gonna move upfield, where we see Jelly Richards in 7th, Blue Nose in 8th. Jelly Richards in 7th, chasing down Camdis, who is looking to overtake Haltman. Haltman we see in 5th. Did he have a problem? Blue Gobi 4th. And Scooby G tailing Ganzi. Ganzi in the yellow car, Scooby G behind him. And in the distance we see Arki in a strong lead, doing 140.1 as a fastest lap. Scooby G a 144 and Ganzi a 145. But Holtman seems to be losing time. He definitely lost places since he was qualified 2nd. It's never possible to show all of the action on track, but I do believe it's only fair that we also look for action mid-pack. Here we are with the battle for 2nd. Scooby G still chasing Ganzi. Bit of instability in this long Renault curve, going to heavy braking in Repsol. Scooby G seems to run more or less the same lap times as Ganzi and is not yet able to overtake. We make it up through the combination 6, 7 and 8, climbing uphill towards Kamsa. We dive on the back straight, go down towards the hairpin. Lakaikska, I don't know how to pronounce it, lap 10, making it through the 11 and 12 Banque de Sabadell. And heavy braking in Europe car, turn 13, then the chicane Rack, turn 14, making it through 15 and finally New Holland, turn 16 and over start finish. With 15 laps to go, we have a status quo on 1. We see Arki in a strong first position, followed by Ganzi and Scooby G. And this fight for 2nd is being closely watched by Blue Gobi and FRT Haltman. Scooby G seems not to be able to pass Ganzi, who is making his car as wide as a double-decker bus, albeit a yellow one. There is no passing Ganzi at the moment. A strong performance by both drivers. But this of course gives Blue Gobi and FRT Haltman, which I still believe had some issues earlier on, give them the chance to close the gap. And this is only better for us, ladies and gentlemen. It makes more exciting racing. We saw Scooby G really trying to get past Ganzi earlier. And keep an eye on the people following. I'm gonna keep with this fight between the two lads going at it for 2nd. Yellow car Ganzi, closely followed by Scooby G in the green one. Here goes the camera again, ladies and gentlemen. Blue Gobi in the blue one, following Scooby G and Ganzi fighting. Oh, making a little mistake. Maybe now Haltman is able to come closer. Yes, Haltman is definitely closing the gap. Of course, it's not sure whether Haltman had an issue with tires or damage. Went off track, penalty. Who is to say? We will hear this later on in the debriefing or in the little press conference. So keep an eye on Facebook to get all the commentaries on tonight's race. Camdis also manages to follow the likes of Holtman and Blue Gobi, so strong sixth by Camdis. And is he closely followed, yes, by Jella Richards in seventh, who probably made a little mistake because now he lost some connection to sixth. And Blue Nose managed to come right up his tail. So a great battle here between Jella Richards, closely followed by Blue Nose in eighth. And you have to know that in the standings, Blue Nose is seventh and Jella Richards fourth. So Blue Nose can really make up points if he's able to pass Jella Richards here. In ninth, we have Jester, who is not by no means out of the fight for eighth or seventh even. And let's move through the pack. So Jester in ninth. Shadow Stalker is now a bit backwards, closely followed by Dark Sykes. Battling it out for the top 10, last spot in the top 10. Heavy on the braking, late braking by Dark Sykes. Now he can make up through Renault. We are now going long right turn, then heavy braking after the bridge is always a chance to overtake. Yes, awesome fight between these two drivers. Dark Sykes holds it for 10th. No. Shadow Stalker, being the Shadow Stalker he is, manages only just to hold on for 10th here. Dark Sykes with another try. Thinks the better of it. Very wise. He can now maybe outbrake him at the end of the back straight. Into turn 7. Yes, and enough room left by Shadow. This is awesome racing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we want to see. You battle it out with your rubber on the tarmac and not with your carbon fiber against carbon fiber. That's not what we want. Dark Sykes manages to lead this fierce battle for the last top 10 position. And let's make it up to the field again. Looking for Jester, who is having a lonely race. He seems to have lost a bit to the likes of Blue Nose, who's also having a fair lonesome race. Jella Richards in no man's land. As is Camdis. So the field is being stretched out, ladies and gentlemen. But here we are with our fight for second, where we see Ganzi in second, still closely followed by Scooby G. But Blue Gobi and Holtman now all made it. And we're gonna follow this fierce battle for a while, ladies and gentlemen. So Holtman in fifth. And seeing Blue Gobi trying his best to get by Scooby. And you immediately see when the people are starting to, oh, we have Blue Gobi, oh, commentators luck, oh, commentators curse. Yellow flag in turn 4, Repsol. Oh, Blue Gobi is able to start again. What a shame. Blue Gobi, he will be furious on himself, as is always every race driver. For every mistake, they want to break their wheels, they want to hit the misses, they want to yell at the kids, they want to throw the dog through the window. Blue Gobi, not good for his heart. Camdis is managing to follow Haltman, who now also lost a bit of position, where we see from Haltman's front the fierce battle still going on between Scooby G and Gonzi. We're gonna have to stay with this battle, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna use onboard camera since the overall camera seems to have its own will. Gonna try. No, there you see pit lane glitch in the camera. I'm so sorry for this broadcast, but here we see the fierce battle between the two guys. For second, Gonzi closely followed by Scooby G. We're halfway the race, ladies and gentlemen, and we're making it once again through Repsol, turn 4, hard on the power, little DRS towards the hairpin of Seat. Keep going down, and then finally we start our climb on the hill. Live, of course, in the real world, this climb is serious. You do not want to do that on foot or by bike. And then on top of the hill we go down. Kamsa on the back straight, still on board with Scooby. I apologize for this chase cam, but this seems to be the only cam that really is stable and works. Where is Haltman? Haltman is trying to play a factor in this battle for second, but seems not to be able to come closer. Maybe damage, I don't know. I haven't informed myself well enough. I thought damage was on, but I'm not sure about this. But mid-race, you know, tire wear comes into play, concentration, fatigue. It are all factors next to the massive amounts of talent to keep these monsters, these Mercedes AMG monsters, on track with the DRS, sometimes in these fast, like this fast right turn at the start of the circuit of the lap, down in Repsol, lap 11. And Scooby G is already fighting Gonzi for more than half a race. This is this close, ladies and gentlemen. Haltman tries for dear life to hold position there and to come closer to Scooby. We see Camdis losing a little bit of connection. Blue Gobi still, oh, I still hear him furious. He's still yelling through his visor. His pit crew is already off the radio because they got tinnitus by him yelling through it. He must be really cross with himself. But he can still end in a strong sixth, and for his championship, of course, Blue Gobi is standing currently in 8th behind the likes of Jello Richards, Jester, Shadow Stalker, Blue Nose, and you know what? He's keeping most of those lads behind him, so he's doing well for the championship. So keep up the good work, Blue Gobi. We're gonna see Jello Richards. He's doing not so good for his championship, of course, in 7th. In the championship, he's currently in the standings 4th. So he wants to make up some room towards Blue Gobi and challenge for 6th eventually, maybe. So here are the Lone Rangers after Jello Richards. We see Jester in 8th, doing really well with a 41.2 for his fastest lap. Steady race by Jester so far. Steady race for Blue Nose, not Blue Nose. Excellent. Where is Dark Sykes? Dark Sykes dropped to 11th. I'm afraid we gonna have to see the individual feet of the racers to see what happened here, because I had to follow the battle for second, and very urgently I have to go back to the battle of second. But it seems that Dark Sykes had some kind of issue, be it an off-track time penalty or a mistake, another sort mistake. We'll never know, but he'll definitely comment later what happened with this race. Maybe you can add a little film for the fans. Big Sykester, sadly enough, had to retreat to the pit lane, retire. So we will come back to this battle for the last position of the top 10, where we see Shadow Stalker. No, I'm not leaving yet. Shadow Stalker made a mistake. So Dark Sykes here in 10th again. Now trying to look for Blue Nose. We see Jester still in 8. We see Jelly Richards as steady 7. Blue Gobi a very, very steady 6th. Chasing down Camdis in 5th. And in the distance, Camdis sees Haltman, who is still trying to get that fierce battle for second, ladies and gentlemen, with 7 laps to go. I think we're gonna have to stick with this chase cam. I am so sorry for Arky, who is doing a tremendous job. He's clocking currently a 1:40.0, which is by 4/10 the fastest lap of the race. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to follow this fierce battle for second, with Haltman in 4th, with Scooby G in 3rd, and with Gonzi in the distance in 2nd. No, this camera is really bugged. Oh, there we go. Okay, hopefully we can see now this battle for second. We're on board. Well, we're following Scooby G here. In front of him in the yellow car, Gonzi. Scooby G in the green car, and in the blue and yellow car in the 4th position, but 3rd of this battle. We see Haltman. You remember in the beginning of the race, Haltman had an issue. He dropped down to 5th, but now is challenging for a podium, another podium. Haltman, of course, currently leading the standings in the Cup, followed by Arky. So Arky, who we haven't seen the whole race, I'm so sorry for that, but Arky, I do mention him because he will do a tremendous jump in the standings, and he will jump to 1st, of course, if the checkered flag would drop right now. But it ain't over till the fat lady sings, so we're gonna continue and enjoying this fierce battle between the yellow car, Gonzi, the green car, Scooby G, and the yellow and blue, Haltman. I just got a word of our sponsors, and they do demand a good view of Arky. I'm so sorry, guys. Here is Arky. He is sponsored by the Deutsche Postbank. And of course, these lads, they want to have a little bit of airtime. Arky is doing a fantastic job leading this entire race. Currently clocking a 1:39.7. And that's the fastest lap of this race with 5 laps to go. And with 5 laps to go, we're gonna go back to our battle for second with Scooby G. Oh, where is Ganzi? What happened to Ganzi in 5th? As always, bad luck for the commentator. Bad luck that I didn't see this happen. I am sorry for that. Ganzi will be furious. I hope it was not a race incident. He will try to make his way back up to 4th, chasing down Blue Gobi. So after battling it out for after being second the whole race, battling it out with Scooby, we see Ganzi in 5th. Of course, Camdis was able now to close the gap, so he's threatening now Ganzi for 5th. Chester is still a little bit back. Camdis challenging Ganzi, who is now defending for 5th. Dark Sykes still in 10th, Blue Nose in 9th. Of course, they're all in no man's land. Jellerich, Blue Nose 9th, Jelly Richards 8th, Jester in 7th. With Camdis, of course, he will be very motivated to try to make a move on Ganzi, who is desperately trying to make up his lost places in these last final 3 laps to go. With Blue Gobi not able to follow Holtman, who is now in 3rd. With a very strong performance by Scooby G. Who manages a 1:44 as a fast lap, but of course our leader Arki in a 1:39.7, having a commanding lead over the rest of the pack. Here we see Ganzi still in a battle. Ganzi in the yellow car, battling it off with Camdis. So we're gonna have to stick with this battle, ladies and gentlemen, as all the other positions are more or less taken. Of course, commentator Gers saying that we might miss another off or another mistake by somebody, and all of a sudden the standings are different. Camdis has now the knife between his teeth, not to cut the tires of Ganzi, but to pass him. And we also see in front of them that Blue Gobi is approaching Haltman. We'll run through the field. So here Camdis he definitely will try to make another move. Blue Gobi on Haltman, so we'll try to see what happens here in the hairpin in the first chicane. Oh, Ganzi is pushed wide there by Camdis. but nothing. Of course, Ganzi now lost connection with Blue Gobi, but the last laps are always the most tense laps. People really try to go for that extra classification, for that extra position. But thank God both of them are still racing. Both of them are still trying to do a good job. As is Blue Gobi trying to chase down Haltman, who I'm really curious to hear undoubtedly had some issues, because why else would he have been going around in 5th at a certain point, in 5th, chased very closely back then by the likes of Chester and Camdis even. The strong midfield racers, Chester and Camdis. Jella Richards now in 8th. I see on my WhatsApp app, on my Cars app I mean. Last lap, and we're gonna have to go with our leader Arki soon. He will go across the finishing line. Scooby G in a very strong 2nd position. Haltman 3rd, followed closely by Blue Gobi in 4th. And then this fierce battle for 5th, Ganzi in the yellow car, followed by Camdis. Jester in 7th. Jella Richards in 8th, where he was in 7th for a long time. Something must have happened. Blue Nose in 9th. Dark Sykes in 10th. And Shadow Stalker in 11th. But we're gonna go to the battle for 5th and 6th. Ganzi battling it out with Camdis, and Camdis, sadly enough, that's race over for Camdis. He will finish in 6th, Ganzi in 5th, Blue Gobi in 4th, Haltman in 3rd, Arki finished in 1st, Scooby G in 2nd, Haltman in 3rd, Blue Gobi in 4th, or are they still going? No, they're still going, ladies and gentlemen. This is hard to see as a commentator. Arki in 1st. We're gonna pick up the battles then. The battle for 3rd, gonna stick to these guys. The battle for 5th and 6th we can see once these guys cross the finish. There we see Haltman chased by Blue Gobi, but Arki with a fast lap of 1:39.7 is finishing the race. Here we see Arki. Well done, Arki. I'm so sorry for these images. Arki is finished in 1st, Scooby G in 2nd, Haltman in 3rd, Blue Gobi in 4th, Ganzi in 5th after all that battling for 2nd, Jester a strong 6th, Camdis back in 7th. I believe Camdis, that was of course the mistake he made. That threw him back to 7th. Jella Richards in 8th. Blue Nose in 9th. Dark Sykes in 10th. So he will move up in the championship as well. as well as Shadow Stalker. He will... No, Shadow Stalker will move down. He will lose a couple of places. And Bix Saxter was out of the race. I will leave the race here so the guys can save their replay. This was the DTM World Tour race at Catalonia. I was your host, Nickelman. I am sorry for some of the odd camera juxtapositions and for missing some of the action, but I hope I was able to catch a lot of the action as well. The camera was a glitch from Project Cars, and we hope Project Cars 2 will give us some better tools to commentate and to edit video. So it's bye from me for now, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.